Hello everyone, welcome to Logic App Tutorials. In this video, we will see what are the prerequisites for developing the standard logic app from Visual Studio Code. Okay, so in order to develop a standard logic app from Visual Studio Code, there are some prerequisites which we need to follow. And first of them is, if you see in this list, there are few extensions we need to download, but just first we need to make sure that we have this .NET SDK version after 6 point onwards, and then we must have this Azure Function Core tools. Okay, so this is the link for downloading the .NET SDK. So you should have downloaded this .NET SDK, and after that, with this link you should download the Azure Function Core tools. So these tools are required because Azure standard logic apps, they are nothing but the extension, they runs on the extension of Azure functions only, right? So make sure that you install Azure Function Core tools. So once you click on this link, the Azure function MSI will start downloading, and then you have to install it. I'll give all these links in the video description. So I have already downloaded Azure Function Core tools. So let's install it. So here is the MSI which is downloaded. So just double click and click on install. It will take some time. Okay, so our Azure Function Core tools are installed. Just click on finish here. And now from this list, we must have the .NET SDK. So .NET SDK I have already downloaded and installed, but you make sure that you download and install this .NET SDK as well. So now I'll start with what are the extensions required inside the Visual Studio Code. So of course, first you should install the Visual Studio Code itself, and on top of that we will install all this extension. So first extension is Azure ITE. This is required to set up the local data store for our logic apps. Okay, so let's flip to the Visual Studio Code. So here, this is the extension option. If you go here and you have to type the Azure IT, so the first one, Azure ITE. So this one you have to install. Just click on install, trust the workspace and install. So it is installed. The next extension is Azure account extension. This we need to log in, and we can filtering the subscription. So it will give the experience to connect with our Azure account with our subscription. Okay. So Azure account. This is Azure account extension. I'm just clicking on install. So this installed very quickly. The next is we need to install the C# for Visual Studio Code extension, and this is required because we want to run and debug the code locally. So let's flip to the Visual Studio Code, and here I will type C#. This one, okay, C# for Visual Studio Code. We have to install this. Okay, so C# for the Visual Studio Code is installed now. So let's check what is the next extension we need to install. So from this list, the next is .NET SDK, which we have already installed. Azure Function Core tools also we have installed. The next is Azure Logic App Standard extension. So this is obviously we need it, then only the Logic App Standard workflows we can create from the Visual Studio Code. Okay, so let's flip to the Visual Studio Code, and here I have Azure Logic App Standard. Okay. So you see this comes which is Azure Logic App Standard. So we'll just install it. This allows us to create the standard logic app from in our local system, and we can debug and run it as well locally even before publishing it to Azure portal. Okay, so this is installed. So now we have all the prerequisites installed. In next video, we will create one standard logic app and one workflow inside it from the Visual Studio Code. Thank you for watching.